We've got a SurveyUSA poll that shows Biden ahead by just 2 points in Minnesota. We're going to go through this poll, the pollster, and the current polling for Minnesota. Later on for today, I'll also have a second video. So let's get into Minnesota. A couple of weeks ago, I did a deep dive into the recent political history for this state. It did get a lot of views and new subscribers, so it's a great time to take a look at this poll that came out yesterday. So in this SurveyUSA poll, they sampled 680 likely voters. And what are the top line results? Well, this top sentence says it best. This is their third poll in a row that Biden and Trump are in a statistical dead heat. Biden is at 44, Trump is at 42. 11% say they'll vote for another candidate and 4% are undecided. So with that sample size, there is a large margin of error of 4.9%. So as always, this is just one poll. Take a glance at it, don't put too much stock into it, and always take a look at multiple polls and the aggregate. This says most pollsters and political pundits don't consider Minnesota to be among the battleground states where the winner of the presidency could be determined. That's true, it's not a must-win state for either side. In my own recent prediction, I had the state going to Biden by about 5.5 points. It's early, things could change. Down here, this sentence gives you a quick summary of the last two presidential elections. In 2016, Hillary won the state by a narrow 1.5 points, but last time, Biden won it by a comfortable margin of 7 points. In this poll, 39% of respondents identified as Democrats, 36% as Republicans, and 22% as independent. This is a state where the third-party vote could play a critical role. If Kennedy, West, Stein, and the Libertarians all get on the ballot, obviously that's going to spread out the vote a little bit more, and with the dissatisfaction of Biden and Trump at the top, the state could unexpectedly get more narrow, kind of like it did back in 2016. Geographically, they break it down with the Twin Cities and the inner ring suburbs. 49% of those go to Biden, 34% for Trump. Everywhere else Trump leads. He's up 13 in southern Minnesota, 28 in western, and 8 points in northeastern. That's going to be the Iron Range. So if you want to take a closer look at the crosstabs for this poll, here they are right here. With men, Trump is up 10. With women, Biden is up 15. 18 to 34-year-olds, surprisingly, break hard for Trump, 54 to 25. Biden actually does his best with 65 and up, 54 to Trump's 35. With the most important issues, it's a familiar pattern where Biden does better on abortion and healthcare, Trump does better on immigration and the economy. Trump has the edge, but it's gotten more narrow. Trump gets 87% of Republicans, Biden gets 87% of Democrats. Independents are split, but they tilt toward Biden at 36 to 33. And with the education and income breakdown, as expected, Trump leads by double digits of those without a 4-year college degree, and Biden leads by double digits of those with a college degree. Those making under 40,000 break toward Trump 45 to 40, but those making over 80,000 break toward Biden 46 to 37. So that's this current poll. Now let's take a look at this pollster's history. For that, we get on 538. Now I've mentioned in some of my previous videos, 538 actually removed the polling history for their individual pollsters. It's a terrible move, but we can get on the Wayback Machine to still take a look at SurveyUSA. They have an A+ rating. They do a lot of polling. And down here, this shows the polling bias and accuracy. For the most part, it is kind of split down the middle. So they're going to favor each side from time to time. If we go back to the midterms, their biggest miss was from Maine governor. They underestimated Mills by 7 points. But relevant to Minnesota, they did poll the governor's race, and they were spot on. They had Tim Walz winning by 8. He won by 7.7. You're not going to get much better than that. They also polled Minnesota's 1st congressional district. First they had a special, then they had the general election. They were off by a few points on both, each time underestimating both sides. How about back in 2020 for president in Minnesota? They had Biden up by 5. He won by 7.1, so that's a slight underestimation of Biden's support. In the Senate, they also underestimated Tina Smith by the same couple of points. And if you want to see what they did back in 2016, this is where they had a complete miss. They had Clinton up by 10 and 11 points, where she only won by 1.5. That's about a 9-point underestimation of Trump's support. So there's really no way around it. That's a complete wipeout. But as always, it doesn't mean that's going to happen next time. Every pollster that covers a lot of races in a lot of states, they're going to have a few big misses. That's unavoidable. The trick would be to see if there's any kind of a pattern. So the last thing we could do is get on Real Clear Politics and take a look at the current polling average. For Minnesota, Biden is up 2.3. That includes this most recent poll. The other two do go back to late last year, so they're kind of outdated, but they're all pretty much in the same ballpark, and nobody is even close to 50% of the vote. And I know Republicans are banking on the third-party vote giving Trump a bigger chance in the state, along with his severe underestimation of support back in 2016. That's all a possibility. I think it's unlikely, but there's an outside chance the state could go to Trump. It would take a red wave and some some missteps by Biden? Because on a presidential level, it is a blue state and has been for many decades. It's not a must-win for either side. If Trump were somehow able to win it, then I would think he's already won Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. There's plenty of time left. The third-party vote is going to be a factor. But whatever polls we've seen, they have been surprisingly narrower than expected and definitely narrower than Biden's 7-point win back in 2020. So maybe there is something going on here in Minnesota. I've seen all kinds of predictions that say it could flip and it can't flip. There's all different kinds of data you can point to emphasize your case. I don't think it's exactly competitive just yet, but if the polls are this narrow, Biden might have to focus some attention here, Trump might do some rallies, and it could be a state that has an unexpected shift. We'll see what happens, but for now, that's a look at this recent poll out of Minnesota. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this poll? Is the state actually going to be competitive in the end, or is Biden going to get it together over the next 6 or 7 months and actually win the state by another comfortable margin? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.